It's the morning show with EVH. I'm Eric Von Hessler. Guess who doesn't have jury duty today?
It's me.
Actually, I guess if you threw it in there, everybody. Nobody has jury duty today, but we were worried that Autumn would be off on some big local Atlanta rapper violence case, but it didn't happen. She was an alternate. She was sent home early, so Autumn Fisher
Hello.
joins us again today. Michael Albanese.
Yay.
Just an absolute. If there's sort of the sun, the moon, and the stars of show business, to me, it's Michael Albanese. He is show business personified.
Oh, fuck you.
Demerits.
Oh, by the way, the demerits, I figured out a new system. First, let me say that Greg Russ is in his cubby hole that he calls an apartment somewhere in the Lower East Village, I believe, in New York City. Is that correct?
You're making up neighborhoods, and yes.
What was the neighborhood?
I said Lower
The
East.
Lower East Village.
The Lower East Village.
Isn't there Lower East Village?
Side, there's East Village.
What's that? Can you pull him up?
No, I can't hear him at all.
There's a Lower East Side
Yeah.
and East Village. You combine the two.
But
which
is there not, in fact,
you make a great real
geographically,
estate agent. Drive those prices up.
geographically speaking, there would be a Lower East Village?
I mean, geographically speaking.
Thank you, Greg
but,
Russ.
It's not a large enough geographical area to really break it up into directional pieces.
Why don't you just tell people what your address is, and if they're in New York City, they can come knock on the door.
212 Sullivan Street.
What's that?
212 Sullivan Street
There you
between
go.
Bleecker and West 3rd.
You don't have an apartment. You have like an entire house.
He's
No,
got
that's the thing. I don't want to give up the
money
apartment, but you get inside. I gotta let them do some work. You just look at the mailboxes. You find out where I am, but there's
Right.
bars on the windows.
Right.
There are 5 locks on the doors. You're not getting in.
And if you did get in, it's a room about the size of the one you're sitting in now, except that it has
Absolutely.
a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room.
Hey, it's great. I didn't even get dressed today to do this show. I just kind of got out of bed, went over to my computer.
Jealous.
So does that mean what do you mean didn't get dressed? Like exactly what
He's
does that
naked.
mean?
Well, I'm wearing underwear and a t-shirt.
Take
Okay.
off your underwear.
All right.
I just want you wearing a t-shirt and no underwear.
But he could just tell you. Autumn, you could do this on your own time at home with your chat roulettes or
Wait,
whatever
why
it
is
is
it
you
allowed?
do.
If we were like, Autumn, take off your underwear, people be like, yeah, they'd be clapping in the room and
Yeah.
woo, woo, woo. And suddenly someone tells me to do it.
Maybe approximately 7-8 months ago that would have been fun, but
Yeah,
today,
right now,
I don't want to see no pregnant
Do you
booty.
read the social stream during the show?
Yes.
Right?
They
Well,
still
people
want it.
love it.
Because as I've said many times, she's a very hot pregnant lady.
Yeah.
Now that's moderated. She's a pregnant lady, and that drags you down a little bit. But as pregnant ladies go, I think she's pretty dang hot.
Yay.
That's my opinion.
Thanks.
I mean,
I've been lucky.
Good thing nobody cares what you think.
wow, Michael coming in with the daggers this morning, just coming after me. You can't get over the fact that we were a little tense on
Well, I have all
yesterday's
this
show.
time between sitting down and leaning into my microphone to think about it.
That
So
sounded
I'm like,
really good.
Come for a
Sounds
burn.
good.
Here it is.
Sounds good.
It did
Yeah, I
sound
know. We
good.
gotta.
You have
just
to hold
it.
it. Hold
Just
it like it's your lover's
I'm
face.
going to.
Or
Well,
like-
with my fist? All right.
So yeah, please do me a favor. Just keep whatever clothes you have on now. Keep that much
leave
on.
them on, yeah.
Because I just don't even want. Although he could just tell us that he has no clothes on, and there's no way we could really.
Yeah, see, that
verify
used to be
it.
theater of the mind. That used to be the thing that Radio's Foundation was based on. But
Yeah.
now these video cameras are
Yeah.
in play. You've really ruined it.
I know. I hate it. I
Oh,
think
there's a knock on the door. Come on in.
what I decided.
Eric, no. Ow.
What I decided on demerits. By the way, hello to Dr. X
Dr.
over there.
Good morning.
He's got a little bit of a different disguise going today. He's a fashionista.
Yes.
Got a different bandana around his face.
Ooh.
New sunglasses too.
Yeah, Dr. X, man.
How'd you
Get
do on the
job done.
flop
The flop.
as poker? All right, you guys suck.
All right, we did all the poker jokes yesterday. Remember?
Yeah,
We
that
got
was a
the
new
whole
one.
dominoes.
Thank you. I went home and wrote.
Always with the
I'm
poker
a
jokes.
champion.
Michael Albanese is very funny, but just a little too focused on poker, I think. It's like half of his act, 20 minutes of poker jokes. So I decided
surprised.
yesterday, the board of demerits, I wanted people to be able to see it, so it's behind me here, which makes it difficult to write the demerits.
Yeah.
So starting today, with today's show, in my mind, I am going to rack up points. I might say points out loud, whatever. Then after you guys leave, I'm going to think about it a little bit, see what affects me, what doesn't affect me. And when you guys come in every day, you'll see the new board and you'll see where you stand. That way I don't have to turn around and keep, doing it and putting it back up there. So it'll be a new thing every day. You could walk in with 20 more demerits. You could walk in with some less.
Where did those come from? That's what we
And then
won't
I'll
even
be
know.
able to explain it to
Okay.
you. That's what we do here. We find reasons to talk about things. One thing to talk about quickly with people who follow the network is there's going to be some changes going on as we get into our third week here. Is this our 3rd
I'm
week?
already fired.
Yeah. Albanese.
This
cut.
is his last
This is
show.
our 4th week.
Is this the 4th week? Are we
It
in
is.
the 4th week now? Time flies when you're having a blast. And so
Yeah.
we're starting to see a little bit how people are using the show and everything. And Autumn in the very beginning, and now she's going to dance on my being wrong because she loves to do that. She's a bully. From the very beginning, I thought more like, because I've been in radio for 30 years or something. So I was thinking it's a live show and that we have to really be there live. And then I thought that the podcast and stuff were just going to be like an archive thing for people in case they missed the live thing. Well, Autumn was right and I was wrong. And I had to accept the fact that I'm in the business of making podcasts now, not radio, right?
Totally.
The live element, we look at the number of people that are listening live is absolutely minuscule compared to the number of people who are listening to us as a podcast. So, therefore, we got rid of the Live 365 stream because it was the only fire hazard in this room because it was a computer that had to stay on 24 hours a day. It's the only thing I worried about at night while I was sleeping. And we were reaching, whereas with everything else we're reaching thousands and thousands, literally we were reaching like 18 to 25 on the Live 365.
Ah,
That's
60.
even pushing it.
Huh?
Oh, on the 18 to 25, 12.
No.
12.
No, I'm saying the Live 365.
Yeah, I monitored that. You exaggerated 18. It was 12.
Oh, okay.
12 was the high number.
Okay, 12. 12 was so we get into these and then once we're not doing it live and we have it running all day long, we never have more than 4 or 5 people at a time. And
We didn't really advertise it either.
It's a
though.
bandwidth issue.
It's a bandwidth
That's
issue.
true.
It's a data cap killer
Yeah.
for people. They'd much rather be at home with their wireless, download the show, than listen to it in their car.
Totally.
And, which is what
Did you get
Autumn
your money
told me.
back?
I don't. We're working on that.
Yeah.
Like an idiot, as I always do. I just bought a year straight up. So they are fighting me, and that's fine. But maybe we'll figure out something else to do with that stream or some other way to use it. Or if they won't let me off the hook, I'll just say Live 365. They suck. Don't use them. I'll do my part, because I think that even though I signed that, if I call them back and say, look, this just isn't working for me, they should say, well, here's your money back, and here's some other things that we do, and maybe you'll need our services in the future, and you will have had a good experience, and you'll come back. But that's really not the way capitalism works today. Everybody thinks about how much money can I make on this particular day, and nothing more. That's weird. Oh, you're propping that up on a
Trying
Big
to do
Star
something.
album.
That's not going to work.
That's not going to work. So not only so Live 365 is gone. You can only watch live, you stream, or you could listen on your app if you really wanted to kill your data caps. Also, I got to go to South by Southwest next week, so we're going to start stacking up shows. So today we're going to be doing shows this afternoon, and we'll be building up shows as we go into next week, so that from Wednesday to Sunday next week, I can be doing what I need to be doing, but we still have daily shows.
So why if we're taking away the live element of the show, why do you even need to tell them that? Tell people
because
that.
there's a few people who want to know where that is.
on the Ustream channel. That's true.
Yeah, I'm letting people know the changes that are going on. I wrote a blog about this. I don't know how many people went to the blog, but I just want people to know.
Where can you find that blog, Eric?
EricVonRadio.com.
Awesome.
The whole idea here from the very beginning was this is going to be transparent. We're not going to do things without telling you. We're going to be stacking shows, and into next week, it'll be recorded shows. But now that I realize that the live element is not so much a big deal, and
it's always kind of
another part of it is in radio all that time and doing the news job all that time, I was always about the latest news. You want to be doing the latest news, and I realized that that's not as important here because people can be listening to podcasts 4 or 5 days later after they're done. So, and I don't really like doing the breaking news, like somebody got shot in the inner city or something. I like to talk about the things that are going on, the general trends, the bigger stories, and that's the way to work. So, and it's kind of weird. We might actually this afternoon be on live. Doing our thing. I don't know if we can just record one without actually going on live, can't we, Greg?
No, you go live.
You have to go live. So
each time the other time we had a pre-recorded show.
So
before the storm, we had to go live.
The weirdness of it will be that tomorrow morning on Thursday, not Thursday because we're going to come in the afternoon, but something like Friday morning. And going into Monday and everything next week. No, you got to follow me here.
I know. We need to. Can we erase the whiteboard and we can chart this out?
No, it's not that hard to follow. Just give me a second here.
Storyboard it.
And I will. What I'm saying is, it's gonna be kind of weird because, say, like on Monday, probably what's going to be happening is at 9:00 we'll put up the show for Monday, but there'll be a live show that we're doing that isn't for Monday at the same time. That'll be the kind of weirdness going on there. So, and at any time that you tune in, you might find us doing something live for 2 or 3 days down the line. So there it is. That made sense.
People
didn't
get emails when the Ustream goes live. So
Okay, so you'll see that there, but you may be watching something that isn't going to go up for 4 days
Right.
or something. Okay, so that's out of the way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When people aren't watching us to get their news, or people aren't
Right.
listening to us. They're listening to us to have our opinions on
right.
what's happening. So
It'll be embarrassing if some world leader, God
No, but
forbid
no.
something happens and we're not talking about it at all. But we will. The point is, many people are listening to a podcast from 3 days ago anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think people. Yeah, I don't think it matters. People just want to hear what we think.
If a nuke
I
goes
think.
off and we're just
Yeah.
talking about,
Yeah.
Twinkies, and snacks, ho-hos and stuff, and we
It makes sense because those will be the foods we can eat afterwards. Those are the
Absolutely.
only clean, delicious foods.
It'll be a
Right.
survival show.
But if you think
Exactly.
about it, like if for something like 9/11, if that happened and you're listening to our podcast,
Right.
No one expects us to be able. They're just going
Right.
to pause it and then turn on their TV or like look
Right.
at the news, and then they'll download the next day and be like, I can't wait to hear what they have to say about it.
I hope that's what they would do.
Yeah, let's just hope for another 9/11.
Also, one other thing while I'm doing cleaning some house
Just
here at the
kidding.
beginning. You with your angry comedy lately, going after the girl in Savannah. I don't know what's going on with you, man. It's just weird.
Michael's
it's the
fault.
pregnancy, weird, strange. Yes,
I'm rubbing out.
you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, Autumn. Obviously. One other thing while we're doing some cleanup notes here. That other show with EVH has been tabled for now while we kind of tweak it a little bit, because that was supposed to be like a live call-in radio show. But as we talked about just before, the live element just isn't really there in this medium. So I've got some ideas of how to do it, maybe Google Hangout style, maybe have 3 or 4 guests in that kind of way. But we will bring it back, but we have to tweak it so that it's not dependent on live. So there's that. That's out of the way. And if you have any questions, just come back and watch that again. And you'll know everything that's going on here at Eric Von Radio. So where do we start this morning? I know that you came in with a lot of tension.
I did.
I believe you came in attacking me. I think everyone here will acknowledge that fact. That
I was happy as a clam when I
we-
came in. I came in and I saw your face. That's probably what did it.
Yeah?
I was like, oh, this guy.
Nah, I thought somebody else was going to be there. I know we ended yesterday's show a little tense, and I wanted to make sure
it was
that.
tense, though. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Because here's the thing.
Did you realize I was right? You were wrong.
I don't
as
think
you
we
drove
should,
away.
I don't know if we should, or maybe we can rehash
We don't
what we're
well,
talking about. Maybe we can have like an entire.
I can thumbnail it.
Sure.
We basically
He's gonna skew it, I feel
we
like.
had an argument about whether or not pharmaceutical companies, in conjunction with doctors, are purposefully, if not in intent, but as a consequence of their actions, are getting people hooked on opiates in this
I think
country
that was
because
the conclusion to the argument. The argument was more like this: the morality and ethical nature in which pharmaceutical companies
yes,
market and sell their products to doctors, and then
right,
get to the consumer.
right, and you call it predatory.
predatory sales. I don't know. Maybe that's what I called it.
I think you guys like
I was
predatory. Were you making up as you went along?
Predatory prescriptioning.
Yeah, something along
Yeah,
those
I mean,
lines.
it was-
predatory scripting.
And that's what it is, But anyway, so I got a lot of feedback on Twitter from me. That
Yeah.
People seem to be.
On your side.
I don't want to say on my side because it's a debate, and I don't think in a debate, especially when something like that, and it's such a large,
Yes.
broad topic, that anyone is right. Because I think you had some good points, although very few.
But they were sprinkled in there, is what
they
you're
were
saying.
they were sprinkled in.
But you
yeah.
got a lot of good feedback that I was wrong and you were right.
I think
And
it just
that's
boils
what I
down
expect,
to
by the way.
once
That's what I expect.
Once you, and by you I mean you, Eric,
This person right here,
you as a person,
wearing this
just
snazzy
don't,
shirt.
I think, and we've had even before, like before we were on having a show or whatever. Your opinion to you is a fact.
Well, I'm 50. You
Well,
got to
yeah,
remember
but that doesn't mean-
wasn't.
that does not
hold on a
excuse,
second.
though.
Hold on, no. My opinion is not a fact to me. I present myself. I
You
learned
present it as a
I
fact,
learned. Well, I learned a long time ago that if you're going to do radio and stuff like that, that you have to. That's the way to get things going. And I present. I don't back off in my point of view, and I force the other person to come and have it
Sure.
out with me.
Sure.
I'm not going to be. There's the worst kind of radio in the world is, well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. So the
I
best
feel
thing to
like,
do is to
though-
get your ideas out there. But what you need to understand, or you can or choose to understand or not, but you need to understand, young man, is that
Is get off
I
my lawn.
was unbelievably liberal. Like I put together the Earth Day thing in my
Sure.
first workplace.
No.
I was a Democrat. So everything, all these things that I'm saying now, I have been in the other camp and believed it 100% before I changed my mind. So I've gone through a long evolution on these
Sure.
things. And usually,
You're like me with different workout and eating fads.
and
Politically.
right, and a white beard as opposed to
Exactly.
yours.
Yeah. Mine's getting there. I found a white one in my chin the other
It's the
day.
beginning of the end, my
Did
friend.
you pluck it?
No, I left it
Good.
there.
Yeah, you're
'cause
supposed
I'm
to
a
leave it.
goddamn man.
No, you don't want to do that. No, it'll come in good. With the Duck Dynasty thing going, I think you got a good career ahead of you with that beard. But I think that these arguments between us are less to do with that specific topic than my philosophy, which is I just start at a thinking point. I will not start at the point that it's big. I don't put the word big in front of something. Oil,
Sure.
farming, any of that.
Boobs.
If anybody says that, then I immediately go, okay, well, I like that. I like big boobs. I don't think that they're dangerous.
might
My point is, I don't start from the point of view that it's capitalism and it's greed, so therefore it's probably bad, and they have to prove to me that they're not. I will always start from the point of view that everybody's acting legally and lawfully, and then you give me true evidence, doctors' names, people, people who have lost court cases, things like this, and then you have to prove to me that a corporation is corrupt. You start from the point of view that it's pretty likely a corporation's corrupt because it's about making money and there's greed
Well,
involved.
because human nature suggests that you're going to put yourself first.
yes,
As a person.
but there's a limit to that.
Yeah, there is, I guess.
If I want to get to the store really fast, I'm willing to break the speed limit, but I'm not willing to run over a kid to get there. So I mean, there's a point to which that you will not a line that you will not step over. And you were suggesting
Okay, but-
yesterday that there are people in the pharmaceutical industry who know how to cure cancer, and they don't
first
put
of
it
all-
out there because a cure for cancer will hurt their bottom line. And I'm saying to you,
that's a broad stroke statement that
very specific statement.
suggests that there are things that exist that people are holding on to, whether it's a car that can run completely on water.
Right.
That exists out there. That technology
George
is
W.
real,
Bush talked
and it's
about it
been
in his State of the
stifled.
Union
Yeah,
speech.
but where is it? Where is it?
Probably. Well, you go find out and tell me. But I'll bet you in the testing systems, it wasn't quite as far along as we thought it was, and things are breaking
The point
down.
is the broad stroke of the
Do you know
idea.
how much money you're gonna make
you start
selling
an
those
argument,
cars?
You start an argument with there is nobody. You say that very prompt. You said that nobody is going to do that. That's how.
I don't believe that anybody in any position in pharmaceuticals would hold on to a cure for cancer because that cure would hurt their bottom line. You've got me on that one. I do not believe that that is true. And if you can give me a name, a something, or whatever, but just to say that, well, we know it's like prejudice against anybody, black people, anybody, where you say, well, you know what they're like. That's what you're saying about people in big industry, in pharmaceutical. Well, you know what they're like, so I can suppose that they're holding on
But
to this. But you don't
suggesting
have
that-
one name. You don't have one incident.
Wait, so can I make about the cancer thing, for example? Couldn't there be a situation? I don't know what side I'm on or anything, but couldn't there be a situation where there is some sort of breakthrough where they have done some testing and it looks promising that this could maybe cure cancer?
Okay.
And then what if there is a situation where there's someone from like a lobbying group from
Right.
Susan G. Komen, and because that is a huge corporation that makes a ton of money.
That's what we're talking about too.
But
Is that the
that's-
greed of that company when their board of directors
Different
makes
issue.
millions upon
Different
millions
issue.
of dollars.
That is
Could they-
about,
yeah,
that's
could
it.
they
Hold on.
go-
Stop right there. Different issue, as I said yesterday. Charities and how they use their money is a problem across charities. No matter what, even if
Okay.
it's not health, even if it's like help the troops after they
Let
come
me
home,
make-
stuff
let me
like
make a
that.
different example.
That's a different issue.
Okay, let me make a different example then, not charity.
I don't think Susan G. Komen would lobby to not cure cancer. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
Right.
I don't know. But
Okay.
what about people when they were coming out against the Plan B morning after pill?
Nobody came out against it.
Yeah, they did.
No, I mean, you mean in the latest round?
No, people are still trying to say that it's like an abortion pill
Right.
and keeping it off the market when really it would help.
I think that they were trying to keep it out of drugstores. I think they wanted it to stay a prescription thing between a doctor.
But
that you
why?
couldn't just walk in. Well, because
People should have it in their nightstand.
they
you
could,
know?
they could. People who are 25 should. Whether people who are 14 should
Yes.
is the question.
Why? Why not?
Oh, because people feel like if a principal has to call a parent before they give an aspirin to a student, people feel like a 14-year-old who's dealing with the issue of pregnancy should have their parents involved. And
well,
and then,
that's the
Go ahead.
whole issue with that one. There's no sex education at all. No one teaches their kids about sex, so you're just thrown out there to figure this one out. Maybe if parents actually sat their children down and talked to them about sex, then they could have that pill in their nightstand, because parents live in some kind of denial that their kids aren't going to have sex. Well, if I don't talk about it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but if your kid's 14, can I say something very old-fashioned? They should not be having sex.
That's
It's
true.
too early.
But they
I
could.
understand that.
But they could.
Of course they could.
Right. I'm not saying that they should.
Right.
And like, oh, who cares? Let those
Right.
14-year-olds have
Right.
sex all day.
All
But
I'm saying to you is, I
know.
think the argument was about how easily available it was. I don't think there was much of an argument that said this shouldn't be sold anywhere. And I'm sure
But you know what?
Somebody
I don't
said
think
but
that was. I never experienced that as the argument. I always heard it as they were thinking that it was like an abortion pill and didn't
It
want.
is. It is.
It's not an abortion
You can't
pill.
act like it isn't. I mean,
No, it really isn't.
Well, it keeps a pregnancy from starting.
Right, but it's not
Okay.
killing. It's not taking something away that has already started.
Okay, but let's not talk abortions.
Okay,
Porn.
but I'm just
Right.
saying.
All
So,
right.
but for example, that kind of thing, maybe
No.
the money and the
I don't
pharmaceutical
think, no,
company.
I don't know. There's a lot of money. The pharmaceutical companies want to sell as much Plan B as possible. They make it.
Right.
When you talk about cars that run on water, there may be some oil interest that don't want that to happen, but there's going to be an entrepreneur if you can. Somebody in there
Yeah,
is
like
going
that
to
guy
say,
from Virgin. That guy.
Yeah. First of all,
What's that guy?
Richard Branson.
Over the next 10 or 15
Love that guy.
years, if this goes on, first of all, everybody's going to buy one of these vehicles. And if I'm 45 years old and I'm in the business, I don't care after I'm 60. I'm going to make money selling all these new water vehicles, and to hell with everybody else afterwards.
Well,
As long
it's
as you got a
already, it's
free
already
system.
happening right now with Tesla. You understand that states are banning the sale of Tesla in their cities. In their
They're trying
states.
to. I don't know
No,
if anybody
North
is
Carolina has already stopped it. You cannot buy a Tesla within the boundaries
That's
of
bad.
North Carolina.
I'm not for that.
Exactly, but
But those
it's
people
already
were
happening
but no,
because
Michael.
here's the
No, it's
problem.
not
because
happening in the Star Chamber.
It's a better car. It runs on
$9
better fuel,
billion.
and because their current auto industry is freaking out because they're going to lose so much business that they lobbied to make it so that the law says they can't sell there.
Just like wine people who are always wrong lobby to keep out-of-state wines out of their state. That's a
Right.
different problem. My point is, it wasn't a Star Chamber in North Carolina who did that. Those were elected officials who will have to go back before the voters, and somebody ought to get up with a nice, shiny, charismatic point of view and run against them and say it's wrong and make the point. It's not as if there's a group of people on a commission who say the people of North Carolina can't have this. If you don't like that decision they made, vote them out. There's something we forgot about in this country.
But that's
vote
not,
them out.
That's not the point
If
being
the
made.
people
The
of
point
North
being made is
Carolina-
that there are people that are making the decision to do something like that.
and you can get rid of them.
Sure, but
they
those
have
people
limited
exist.
terms.
So the idea that nobody
No,
would
they
do.
exist.
Why would you do that? That's so
They
stupid.
exist, but they make every vote at their own peril, because if they can't justify it in front of the voters, they're going to lose their power and their jobs. That's the way that it works. You're acting like there's just some Star Chamber that says, hey, that cure for cancer, that'll ruin the economy. By the way, it won't ruin the economy. The economy will just morph into other things. Productive individuals who aren't dying when they're 45 years old will add to the economy. So,
Right.
it just...
But it'll hurt our health.
All I'm saying is I don't start from the same place that you start, which is high suspicion of anything really big corporate. I start from the point of view that corporations are a made-up entity. It's not the building. It's full of thousands of people who have children and go
that
to
are
school.
staring
and
at a
do-
spreadsheet that have to answer to the very, very
Absolutely.
bottom
Absolutely.
piece of number.
Absolutely. But these
and that's
people
what
who-
that is. And
these-
they'll do anything to make sure
how
that
many-
their salary is in place.
Let's say it's a
because
Star
they
Chamber.
have families that they need to worry
Okay,
about.
let's say that there's a Star Chamber involved here. Let's say there's 25 people who decide there isn't going to be the cancer cure. Now, we have to assume none of those 25 people have had their lives touched by cancer. None of them have somebody, a loved one, that could be helped by this. None of them, or are they
You're
actually...
taking the cancer concept too literally. I think.
No, I'm not. No, you said cancer.
But you're saying in a more broad.
I'm using
thing,
it as
could
an
be-
example. It's a broad
and I'm
stroke.
saying that's where our difference is. When you say there's a cure for cancer that somebody isn't letting us have, that's not a broad scope.
I didn't say
that's a
I never
specific-
said that. I
that's a
said that.
specific
I
point.
said there's probably.
Michael
And
Albanese.
then immediately after I explain
Michael
my
Albanese,
theory.
if
But that's
you-
fine. You take one little piece of
No,
word, the little
if
sound bites. That's fine.
No,
you
I
sound
hold
bite
your feet
me.
to the fire. I hold your feet to the fire. If you're being honest with us, I think that you believe in your heart of hearts that that kind of stuff is happening. Do you or don't you?
Say it again.
You believe in your heart of hearts that that kind of stuff is happening.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I am debating your real point of view.
I had to make sure what you were saying because I don't want you to quote me back on that.
Run it by your lawyer.
Well, there was a comma I put in there that indicates the predicate. And I'm like, all right.
All right. Well, So we can have that conversation more, but I hope you don't mind that I disagree with you.
No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
Just don't.
I hope you don't mind that I'm older and wiser.
I'm not gonna bend over and just say, like,
I
"Oh,
don't want
you're
you
the
to.
boss," so I'm gonna say what
No,
you're
I
gonna
don't
say.
want you to, but I do want if you make it if you
Yes, sir.
if you make a I like that if you make
Yes,
a
sir.
Don't get used to it.
if you make a statement or something like that, I'm gonna my style is who, what, where, when, what's their name, when did it happen, what's the exact incident, or are we dealing in speculation? Because I blow off speculation. I don't believe that speculation has any real part of a debate or an argument, because
Even though our entire world economy is based on speculation.
that's commodities. That's people, but they have to put money behind their speculation. They
Yeah.
can lose money. There's
Our-
consequences for them.
economies.
Just saying
the
things.
world
Just
economy
saying
is
things.
based on speculation.
I understand that, but they put money behind it, so they
Sure.
lose if they're wrong. You can
Right.
just say things, and there's no loss if you're wrong.
You know,
So-
I didn't take it as far as what you guys are talking about, thinking that it had some, corporation behind it. But when I went to see, it was a midwife actually for my last for another doctor's appointment. I was saying that I have trouble going back to sleep after I get up to pee in the night, and she said, "Oh, well, you can take Benadryl and you can just go. It's fine. It doesn't hurt your baby." But I didn't want to take medicine.
Right.
I was like, why don't you just tell me like some breathing or like relax or do something, or maybe empty your bladder before a certain time, or don't, you know what I mean? It
And my
was
point is
weird.
this.
It was weird that she automatically was like, bam, medicine.
And
so what I did, I said, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. But
Thank you.
So Mike, I know yesterday Michael's point was that someone who is, this happens all the time, like for people who are addicted to pills and
By the way,
whatever.
they all know they're addicted.
Right, but they think that they're doing something right for themselves.
No, they don't.
Okay, well, I'm not
See,
going to
that's
debate that.
yeah, see,
But
that's,
wait, so no,
that's
listen.
no. I'm not going to debate that. Means that
No, I will debate it, but I will debate it on the. I will debate. I won't let it be just a part thrown in. I honestly want to debate that. I think if you're taking 5-6 Vicodin a day,
Why do you
and you've
take
been doing
happy
it for a
pills?
year, you're hooked on that drug.
Why are you taking happy pills?
Why am I taking
Because
happy
at
pills?
one point, I'll answer for you. Because at one point, you went to a doctor because you were feeling one way, and they
Right.
told you that you had some sort of chemical
No.
imbalance, and that this will help change
No.
your attitude
No.
and your mental state. No, they just said, "Here's a pill, take
no,
it."
not at all.
They
As a
gave you no
ma-
explanation.
As a matter of fact, I have pushed against these kind of happy pills and stuff
Sure.
like that for a long time in my own mind. I went to the doctor and I said to the doctor, I'm having all these weird palpitations in my heart. I'm 49 years old. I'm sure I'm not dying, but I'm old enough to where I want to get it checked out. Secondly, I said, I think it could be anxiety because I lost a job in a very unceremonious way after being there since 1989 in one way or another. I lost an older brother, and I lost one of my oldest friends all in about a week and a half, and my heart's going crazy. I went to the doctor and said, I've always been against these kind of pills because I didn't think that I needed them, but I might need a mild version, and they gave me a very mild version. The pill that I have doesn't do anything to you but shut off that fire hose of negativity and insecurity that happens. So I know enough about being a human being that if a million changes happen to you in a week or two and your heart starts having weird palpitations,
Sure.
the two might be
But are we talking about
might,
that?
might be together. No,
are we talking about addiction?
No, but
'Cause that's
he's
a little bit
trying.
different.
No, he's trying to say that they got some sort of kickback for putting me on that drug. I suggested.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that by you taking a pill means you're into the system. You believe that pill and that nothing else is going to help you but that pill.
No,
and
I
if you
don't-
don't take that pill,
No.
all of a sudden
No.
this road's going to open up of all this negativity.
No.
It's a human emotion that you as a human being can't deal with.
No.
And I'm not downplaying all the events that happened because those are real traumatic events.
Right.
But you take a pill in order to fix your internal emotions. And why aren't you an adult?
I take a pill.
Be an adult and just deal with the emotions. Be an adult, Eric.
Because you can't be productive if your heart is always in weird palpitations and you're thinking
Trust
about
me,
your
I
health.
know.
Well, okay.
And I don't take medicine for it. I
would
deal with it.
suggest that you take this because
No,
it's not.
no.
It doesn't do what I thought it was going to do. For years,
Right.
I pushed it away because I thought it was going to make me dull and I wouldn't
Sure.
be sensitive to the world around me. It doesn't do that at all. You know what it does? It shuts off that voice at night that keeps you up for 3 hours telling you you're an asshole. And you
Greg,
know what?
Greg, are
I
you
don't,
listening?
I don't mind having that voice shut off. To
And
be
you know
honest with
what?
you.
And you know what? Whether that pill
That's a breakthrough. Those people should be praised.
let's pretend, and I believe you that pill works. You
Right.
believe that pill works. It works for you.
I know it does.
Why
It's-
are you suggesting that other people that are taking 5 different pills a day it doesn't work for them. They know better that it
Because
doesn't work for them.
if
It
I
takes a
was
combination of these pills.
Michael,
if your
Michael.
doctor said, "Yeah, I can give you mild,
Michael.
but you need these 2 other ones in order for it to,
Sure.
for it to work,"
I
yeah,
would-
perfect. Oh, they
No.
work. Now I'm taking 3 pills
no,
a day.
I would not be. No, you put me
I
on.
don't know.
You put me
one
on.
is just
Hold on,
as
hold on,
bad
hold
as
on.
3.
Hold on, you put me on a conveyor belt and assume that now I'm on the conveyor belt and now
No,
I
I'm
go
not.
wherever that
I'm
belt
not.
goes.
All I'm saying is that you as an individual take a pill to do one specific thing for you that you need stopped,
Yeah.
and it works.
Like an aspirin for a headache.
Sure, exactly. Just like that, an aspirin for a headache. You give somebody a placebo and you
Right.
tell them it's for a headache, their headache's probably going to go away because
possible.
90% of it's mental. So
possible.
you're saying that because you take a pill and it works for you,
Yeah.
why is somebody that takes 3 or 4 pills a day, why
Can
can't
I
they
answer?
think it works for
Can
them?
I answer?
Go ahead.
Taking the pill as prescribed, 10 milligrams per day, as I do now, to me, I see it as it's a prescription to do this.
Sure.
Now, if I myself started taking 3 or 4 or 5 of those a day when I started at 1, it might make me happy and it might do what I want it to do, but I would know in my mind that I was abusing that drug.
Now, what if your doctor prescribed you 3 to 4 pills that you were supposed
I
to
would
take
question
a day?
that.
Okay.
I would question
But
that
that
highly.
happens
and I wouldn't do
every
it.
Hold on.
day.
That
Every
is-
day people are being prescribed. I'm not trying to run
okay,
over you.
it's
Let me
okay.
just get this out.
And
before
their,
we
Yeah,
get
li-
to
and their
sports.
lives are being made better. What is your problem with
Exactly. So if their lives are being made better, but they're taking 4 or 5 pills a day, why are they an addict all of a sudden? Why can't?
Because we're arguing two different things. We're arguing 2 classes of drugs. What that
Yeah.
was about opiates, which is about painkillers, which is about killing physical pain in your body. That is highly addictive
Sure.
in the sense that you know how it is. First you start taking them because you had dental work done, and then it's like, wow, that feels really good. Now when you go look for them after that, you know
No.
you're doing.
Or I'm sorry.
You know what you're doing.
Okay, so say maybe you have like a back problem and your doctor does prescribe this opiate for you.
Right.
What happens a lot of times with addicts specifically is that they take the drug as prescribed and it works,
Mm-hmm.
and then over time they start having this breakthrough pain and they
Sure.
have to take more, and their doctor does say
Rebound pain.
yes, please have some more. You need to take more. Make yourself comfortable,
Right.
and then that stops working, and then they say, okay, well let me prescribe you a higher dosage or a more stronger opiate.
I would begin to wonder if I was becoming addicted to
Now,
the
but
drug.
listen.
at that point.
Listen. You're talking about your mental state, which maybe you
That's
don't.
all I want the laws based on.
Oh, no, but listen. The
I don't want it
law-
based on the people who can't handle life.
It's not about whether they can handle life. It's about their reaction, their body's chemical reaction to an opiate,
Right.
and when they can't control it, or maybe they do
Then
feel
they need
like
to go to rehab.
right, they do, but it's difficult for them because they are addicts and they need the help. But maybe
But what I'm saying is this: the rules around drugs should be based only on reasonable, moderate people. Because
no,
what's
you
going to
can't do
happen?
that.
Well, what's going to happen is, as a result of trying to keep people from overdosing who abuse the drug,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to become more difficult to legitimately get the painkiller.
No, but
and then
couldn't-
you're going. The result of what you're talking about actually is more people in pain who need it and who possibly go on the black market to get it and
Sure.
get into an uglier situation
yeah.
quicker.
But couldn't
Well, they hand it out too freely. I went to the doctor once. I
They
have back
do.
pain every once in a while, and it's hard for me to put on my socks when I wake up. So I was
Aw.
just curious as to what was going on. I just asked. He's like, "Here's a prescription for Percocet." On the same token, I went to the doctor once because I couldn't focus because I had a shitty desk job in a cubicle that I hated. Of course, I'm not going to be able to focus because I don't want to sit there.
right.
But I go to the doctor. Hey, I'm having trouble focusing. I get a questionnaire of 10 questions. I answer them. Okay, you're not bipolar. Here's a prescription for Adderall. I wasn't even looking for Adderall. I was curious to see if ADD was running rampant in my head, and I think that a lot of people suffer from this, and I think that is even pushed onto people. Everyone has ADD to an
Absolutely.
extent.
Yeah.
But
The kid getting put
So-
on Ritalin is to
I
me,
disagree
is
with
the
that.
absolute
No,
worst
I,
possible
I'm,
thing
I'm
you
on.
can do.
I'm with you there. I'm not so much into kids being on drugs that they're going to be on
I was
when they're in
a
their
kid.
20s.
Go ahead, Greg.
No,
Sorry.
I know.
I'm not a kid here, and they're giving it to me, and I know what it is. I was like, all right, I'll take this prescription because
Speed.
I'll get high off of it for a week.
Yeah.
And I did, and then I was the saddest I had ever was after withdrawing from it.
Well,
But
that's something,
I-
and I'll tell you what, it's something that
But
I have.
I went to talk to the doctor about that, and I said, I don't know. I have ups and downs during the day. I don't know if this prescription's the right dosage. Instead of trying to figure out a dosage, she says, here's a mood stabilizer.
Right.
Throws another drug on
right,
top of it.
right.
So it's
Well,
lazy.
But I mean,
It's
you can
lazy.
It is
also.
lazy.
But as an
you-
average
you-
as an average person and an average American, when a doctor who is a medical professional gives you medicines to take and says this
Yeah.
is what you need, you are automatic. Oh, perfect, great. Like when I went to the doctor when I thought I was having a heart attack, the doctor said you're fine, and I believed her because she hooked me up. She
Right.
did the test. She ran. She goes, oh, you're fine, and I've been fine ever since.
Right.
I got no medicines, but I heard a professional doctor
Sure.
tell me,
Sure.
no, you're not having a heart attack. You're fine. And perfect. I had my buddies tell me, you're fine. You're just freaking out. No, fuck you. You're wrong. I go to the
doctor's
doctor.
a professional.
Doctor says you're fine.
I agree with that.
Why is that different?
Now,
than that? You ever
if
seen Dallas Buyers Club? I'm serious, and I'm being very
No, I
serious
have
right
not
now.
seen
Go
Dallas
see
Buyers.
that movie, and then I want to hear what you think about it.
I don't get my
afterwards.
history from great movies.
No, because it's a
movies
real,
could be great, and they seem like they're
True story.
real.
It's a real story.
It's a real story, but it's made for.
Then
to be
look at the
entertaining.
facts. Then read the facts about based
Look,
on that
you're
movie.
assuming that I'm saying everything's perfect on that side. What I'm saying is I am a sentient human being, and I can navigate this field, and I don't want politicians and regulatory commissions getting between me and my reasoning and
No.
my ability to deal with the world,
I agree
because
with that.
other people are too weak to deal with it.
But
If
couldn't-
you're gonna be an addict, you're an addict. I'm not. I'm worried about my life, not yours.
couldn't
Your
it-
job is to worry about your life. I live in the same world with all these doctors and all these drugs, and I'm not addicted to Percocet. So obviously, it is possible. I've taken Percocet. I've had 6 goddamn teeth pulled in one day. I mean, I've been there, and I've been so, oh, this Percocet's great. And then you get to the 3rd day, and you go, ding. The fact that you're thinking you want to do that again is a red flag, and you stop doing it.
And you
I
don't-
want all laws based on reasonable people
But
like
you
me.
don't have the
But you're
addictive.
reasonable.
But you don't have the
That's you.
addictive gene. Obviously, you don't have that addictive.
Yes, he
It's
does.
in
He
my-
takes a pill every day.
That's the first pill
No,
I've
no,
ever
no, hold
taken
on.
in my
That's
life.
not
I'm
the same
49
thing.
years old. You're conflating two different
Hold on,
things.
that's totally
You
different.
can argue
I know.
the
I'm just being a
addictive
dick
if
at
you
that
want.
point.
I'd
Okay.
rather not do that.
What?
But I surely have addictive tendencies, and I recognize that. And I like painkillers, and I've made the choice. I cannot be near these and for any extended period of time because I don't know if I have the power to not take them. If they're
Right.
sitting there in a pile on my desk, I was like, yeah, I'll take that because I like the way it feels. So you
Everyone
have to make
has-
the choice sometimes.
The beauty
Everyone
of that is no
has-
government agency has to get involved.
Everyone has addictive tendencies.
Sure.
Either you're, but if you're an addict, then you cannot stop yourself. That feeling, what addicts go through is like.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes like a base instinct feeling, like shelter and food, and I have to
I
get
get
this
it.
drug.
And they're all liars,
And
and,
they
I
all
have them in
hate
my
it.
family,
Exactly.
and they're terrible people.
think
Believe
this-
me, I
But
know.
you don't have it, obviously. I mean,
No,
I know
in my
it's in your-
family,
no,
everybody's an
I know,
addict
I know,
except
no.
for me.
Except for you, and so you do not have it.
have a weak stomach,
A lot
I
of
got
people
lucky.
in my family, a lot of my people, there are people in my family that I have a
Right.
history of addiction, but I obviously don't have
Like this,
addiction.
you got something on your lips, drive me crazy.
Oh, thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
That's okay.
Like sexually?
It was white.
Drive me
Sorry, I
crazy.
was thirsty. But yeah, so we're talking about things that I don't think that we have a total grasp on.
Let me just say
Let's
this.
get a doctor
Let
up
me-
in this
Okay,
bitch.
we will, but
we
but
should.
Let me just say, I think that our
Dr. X, what do you have to say?
More drugs for everyone.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing that the things can lead to abuse and that doctors. What I'm arguing is I don't believe that a plurality of doctors do that so that they can get some sort of kickback or whatever.
Right,
They
that's
do it because they think it's the right thing to do then.
Well, explain this then, and we can stop if you don't
And
want to
maybe
keep
it's
talking
lazy.
about
Maybe
this,
it's
we can.
lazy. You know,
I
maybe
think
it's
it's
lazy.
lazy.
Maybe it's just like, okay, pain. Everybody's just take a
like
pill.
that
and get out of
doctor
my
thing
office.
about everything.
But what
If you're a
about-
hammer, then
Right.
everything's a nail.
What about people
chance
that
it's
can't get
lazy.
their medicines when they have a debilitating disease because their insurance won't cover it?
Are there no workhouses for the poor?
I don't know what does that even mean.
Have you ever watched A Christmas Carol?
People
Okay,
that
what
have
about-
people that
what
have
about-
cancer
Hold on a
and
second.
can't get
Hold on,
cancer.
hold on.
People
What's-
some people can't get their cancer medications, can't get diabetes medications, can't get AIDS medications because they're cut off from insurance or they can't afford it. And that's why there's droves of people driving to Mexico or to Canada because in the United States they cannot get their medicines because insurance companies go, "Nah, sorry, you're a fucking asshole, you can't get it."
So you're saying the world's not perfect, is what you're saying.
Or it's too expensive.
But
Do those
these
drugs
same
exist?
people that are
Who
saving
created the
lives,
drugs?
they're saving
Who
lives.
created the drug? Was it you
But
or
that's-
anybody
okay,
you know or
it's-
anybody in your family? Have they ever created a drug that alleviated pain, that made people live 5 years longer
My
than they would have
cousin
lived?
grew pot once that helped me.
You know what I think is a good idea, Michael? The people who make drugs that make us live longer and happier, the first thing we should do is attack them. They're the problem.
Nobody's
Without
attacking them.
these
Hold
people
on,
that you're
nobody's
attacking,
attacking
these
them.
drugs don't exist.
Explain
Do you understand
what
that?
drug
They didn't-
companies
they didn't
be able to
rain
charge so
on
much?
us.
Should they be able to charge so much? If they're in the
Sure.
business of helping save lives, should they be able to charge so much
Yes.
AIDS treatment, for example, thousands of dollars a month
Yes.
that people can't afford, so
Yes.
they forego it and they die?
Who's
but
going to
now,
pay for
yeah,
it?
the
So
other
So
side
it's
of
there,
that.
that's fair. It's strictly business
So people,
at that
so
point. It's
somebody one
strictly
day,
business.
somebody one
No,
time
listen, hold on,
went
hold
to.
on. I have something to say. So,
Oh, shut up! You're a
the-
woman.
Why is she even here?
the drug companies are not in the business of human beings. They're in the business of making money.
You're in the business of business.
They
and so,
should
no,
be-
listen, hold on. Let me say. So they
Stop
want
right there.
to
I have to
make
stop you. I have
money.
to stop you. Name
And
the
that's
person you
fine.
know who's in pharmaceuticals.
No, I'm not saying I'm not.
Well, you just made a
My
statement.
cousin.
You're
I have
thinking
two
that I'm
cousins
going to
that are
make Mike's
pharmaceutical
point,
sales reps.
and
Okay.
you're not. You're thinking I'm making Mike's point, and I'm
No,
not.
I'm not. I'm just saying that we
say
make
you are,
these.
it's
We
fine.
throw around these generalizations about people.
I'm trying to say that it costs money, and it costs years
Yes.
and years and years of research
Right.
to figure out whether this medicine's going to work, whether it's going to hurt people, whether it's going to work and hurt people. You know, and so
And 9 out of 10 of them fail after they spent all
right,
that
and
money.
so that's a lot of money, and so it does. So the medicine does cost a lot of money.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, and,
But,
and that's what
but
Greg
these
was
guys,
saying. Should
but
it
these
cost
guys
so
are
much
acting like
money?
they're just inflating the prices so they can get as much profit as they can. They're
Right.
trying.
Yes, they have shareholders.
Yes.
They're
And they also have 9 drugs that cost them $900 million that don't go anywhere. And they've got one hit drug and they've got to make up all the
Exactly.
money
So
for
we're going
everything.
to take this full circle.
You're
We're
saying
gonna-
they should take losses.
No,
You're
we're
saying
gonna
they should take losses.
We're going to take this full circle right now,
not
and I
charity.
guarantee that you're not going to. You're going to say, "Oh, you're an idiot."
We gotta
This
talk
is
about
not
something
true."
else
We
sometime.
will. I want to end it right now, though. and you-
I'm sure people are falling asleep.
Uh,
We're going round and
We're
round.
going to go full circle. You said that there's nobody out there that has a medicine that can help or cure that is going to deny somebody to do
Stop
it because it's
yelling. I'm
not
right
going to
here.
make them
I'm right
money.
here.
I'm
right
yelling because I'm
I'm
passionate.
right here.
You said earlier that there's nobody, and when I said the broad stroke about the cancer thing, you said there's nobody out there in the pharmaceutical or medical field that has a cure for something that is holding it back because they want to make more money.
Yeah.
And what you just said is that why when we're going to give people pills if it's not going to make them money? You just said that.
Of course.
So,
No,
so
what
you
I said-
contradicted yourself.
No, I didn't. What I'm
People are
saying
being
is-
withheld from medications in this country because they cannot afford it. And the reason they can't afford it
What's the
is
country
because
that
those
works
medical
better?
companies and those drug companies need to make a turn of profit. So yes, there are people out there that are withholding medication from people
So what's
that
your
can
argument?
better their lives.
What's your argument? That they
It's-
shouldn't turn a profit?
Your
Let me-
argument
what's
is
your
that
argument?
if there was
What-
a cure
Michael,
for something, why are they not giving
Michael,
it to everybody?
what is? You still haven't given me a name of somebody who's doing that, so I've disregarded that. What are you saying? That they should lose money in order to save lives? What are you
Absolutely,
saying?
absolutely.
How did they invent the next drug if they don't have money to put into research and development?
Because
How?
Let's see.
Michael,
that's exactly
it does,
how I thought this was going to end.
Inventions do not come from the heavens. They take people, they take research, they take development. You have to pay a scientist for 10 years to do nothing until he comes up with a drug on the 11th year. When you get a hit, you have to pay not just for that research and
Why
development.
not as a people
you
can we
have
not
to
develop that and have it granted
because it
and
doesn't
funded?
work that way.
So
People
here in
get
my
together
hand
and
there-
eat pizza.
Here what I have in my hand, I have the miracle of the cancer cure in
Yeah.
my hand.
Yes.
Autumn has cancer. Do you have $1 million?
No.
Sucks for you.
See, it's not gonna work that way
It-
because
it
if you
does
understood
today. It's already
capital-
happening with
This is why people are dying in their 50s all the time in America, right?
With-
I mean, we're
with
living
AIDS.
longer. We're living longer.
With AIDS.
AIDS has been around since 1985.
exactly.
You know,
People die all the time because they can't afford the medication to keep their
well,
immune
there's
system
more
boosted.
to it than that. You also have to be very, very regimented with your drug thing, which is not easy to do.
A
Let's
lot of,
all snort.
But hey,
pills
you know,
right now.
I got free asthma medication through Merck because I didn't make enough money, and I got it for $0.
Yeah,
a
I've
month.
gotten. I'll tell you that I won't reveal who, how, or where because it's personal. But you know, in my own family, there's a drug that was needed that was, and the person did not have the money for it, and it was Merck, I think. $0. They have programs, but you know what? You gotta go get it. They don't have to come to your house, knock on your door, and tell you how to get the free drugs. You have to go do it yourself. You got to find it. It exists. I'm glad you brought that up because you know why that stopped, by the way?
Why?
I swore I'd never used the word Obamacare, but since Obamacare started, that has changed because they can't do it anymore for one reason or another, and that has changed now because I guess now the government's going to pick that up, and we're in some transition period. But the fact of the matter is, very expensive drug. I'm talking $1,000 a month drug, and $0 for 5 years, 6 years from Merck. They have programs that address this and deal with this, but it's not their job to come find you and shove it in your face. It's your job to survive. Survival
it's
of the
pronounced survive.
Speaking of
Okay,
free,
you guys ready to move on to the General Motors streetcar conspiracy? I think the next
listen,
logical
I've
step in the show.
I've had enough of that. Before we move on to something else, I want to show just something that's really stupid that I think that we'll all laugh at.
Please
Clear
better
the
be
air.
a monkey eating its own shit.
No, it's not that kind of thing.
And that monkey's gonna get He's gonna get
Gave us-
salmonella.
That's
All
right. He gave us all AIDS.
Do you know how many monkeys have upset stomachs and are going to Mexico? So this is, I always like to see just how stupid this country is becoming. Gangs are something that I don't understand. I think you know this about me. I do not understand how there's one single gang member in America. I don't understand how mayors don't just say 99.9% of my job is to make sure that every street at 3 o'clock in the morning is safe to walk on. I don't understand why we coexist with gangs, but we do. So we have a few in Atlanta. We're getting more. Los Angeles. So now a lot of these gangbangers from LA are going to Syria to fight with the rebels. And no, you're like, oh, maybe they got some kind of idea. No, they're just like to shoot guns, and they're just idiots. And there's this video that surfaced of two. The operative word here is homie, because these two guys,
Two homies?
two homies. You'll hear it. These are LA gang members fighting alongside Syrian regime. These are two guys with guns in their hands.
Hey, we still right here, homie. It's fucking morning. Fucking.
You gotta turn it up.
What's
on
out
this.
there,
Enemigas right there, homie. Let me up, homie. It's Creeper, homie, from the G-Dub 13 gang, homie. Sun Valley gang, homie.
It's fucking Weiner from Westside Armenian Power Gang, homie.
Still puro sureños putting it
Right
down,
here,
homie.
homie. We
In
don't
Middle
give a
East,
fuck.
homie, in Syria, still gang banging, not giving a fuck, homie. Look, homie, check this shit out.
I didn't know people were still
Yes,
saying homie.
Still gang banging this shit, homie.
Uh-huh.
Got the G-Dub, homie.
They've shown his
Go, man.
tattoos.
Check out
Now
the
he's looking at a
Enemigas
brick
right there,
wall.
homie. They're all right there, dog.
There's the enemy over there.
But we don't give a fuck, homie.
By the way, I love that.
As you know, homie.
I love that gangbanger lifestyle. We don't give a fuck doesn't mean anything. It's not a it's not a thing to be proud of. We don't give a fuck. But
It
he
is
says
for
like,
them.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently,
That's the culture.
I have had dogs. I've had pets that are smarter than these people.
And shout out, homie.
I thought you were gonna say,
Capone,
I've had pets that
Mr.
don't give a
Criminal
fuck.
from Silver
Yeah,
Lake,
I was
homie,
hoping you
Capone
would.
From Cyclone,
I shit in your bed, man.
Crazy Loco from Pasadena, and
This
Pink
guy just
Lady.
did a shout out
We
to.
still got love for you, girl. We still got love for all your
He just did a shout out to Crazy Loco in Pasadena and Pink Lady. He still got
Crazy
love for that
Loco.
girl.
all you vatos. Let's put this shit down. To
Okay,
all
now they
These
start
are-
shooting. Now they start shooting.
Jesus Christ,
Off.
that's loud.
We don't need to hear them shoot.
So loud.
It was
Just
good.
shooting for no reason.
I know. Why are they
Watch
shooting?
this.
What were
give me
they just...
the Patreon.
Let me show you my
music.
self-worth.
Yes.
I'm gonna shoot this gun.
You gotta say homie a lot in this Patreon thing now.
All right, homies, if you want to get involved with Eric Vaughn Radio, homie, Pink Lady, Jeff, all of you, if you want to get involved with our show, the Eric Vaughn Network, then why don't you go to patreon.com and check out the page for Eric Vaughn Radio, and you get the ability to be part of this team. Are you tired of bitching and moaning about radio? They don't do enough 45-minute conversations about Big Pharma? Well, here's your place. Get behind us, because we're doing something about it. There are several different levels there where you can help. We got bumper stickers and T-shirts coming to people. I got to develop a newsletter that I promised. I have no idea what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be kind of like Larry King's old column. A lot of dots between thoughts, non sequiturs, and maybe a couple of recipes. That'll be coming to you. And also, anybody who becomes part of the team at any level, 10, 25, 50, 100, your name will be on our Wall of Fame, which we have to update, and your name will be on the credits that run at the end of the show, which we have to update, and that will be happening, I promise you. So just go to patreon.com, Eric Vaughn Radio, and check us out. You can get the podcast on iTunes, subscribe, download everything, make it all happen. And if you're going to buy stuff from Amazon, here's a way you can give to us without even having to give to us. You just go to our Amazon banner on Eric Vaughn Radio, bookmark that one time, and then every time you go there and you buy something, we'll get some kickbacks there. So patreon.com, Eric Vaughn Radio. We'd love to have you as part of this team. So come on in and join us. Now, Autumn?
Yes.
Oh, what is in the news that has nothing to do with pharmaceuticals?
Today is Ash Wednesday, you guys. Peace be with you.
Hey, yeah, it's the beginning of Lent.
Any other Catholics in here? Peace be with you.
I am
was-
And also
technically
with
a
you?
Catholic.
Yeah?
I
I was
mean,
brought up a
according to
Catholic,
the
yeah.
church.
I'm
but
giving up
I'm
Jesus
actually-
for Lent.
Yeah, right at it. Right.
I was brought up Catholic.
I'm giving up Catholics for
Yes.
Lent. I'm not talking to any of them.
And now I'm nothing. But I'm always sort of proud isn't the word. I guess I look up to people who are such Catholics that they actually walk around with that thing on their forehead all
I
day long.
know.
Young people, old people, it's like, oh, they've been doing that forever. But like when you work and like the young sales guy comes in, he's 24 and he's got the the cross ash on his head.
Yeah.
I think, well, it seems kind of weird to me, but you're
These are the
walking
only
around all
people
day.
I still stare at. Living in New York, I see weirdos every single day. These are the people I still stare at. Every Ash Wednesday it catches me off guard, and I find myself just staring at their forehead.
So
I got it done. I went into it once, and I was so focused with what it looked like on my head because
Yeah.
I was sitting in church and I didn't want to like take out my compact, be like, oh, what's it look like? Yeah, and so I was just walking around like, what does this look like? Everyone's looking at me. Maybe mine looks like hers over there.
Became a fashion accessory at that
It
point.
was. I was like very, very preoccupied. So people are fasting for 40 days.
well, you don't
and-
fast for 40
Oh, I'm sorry,
days.
not
You
fasting.
give up something
So
that you love.
You're giving up something. That's how it started. I was reading
Yeah,
it.
and it's all become very. This is about Jesus' 40 days wandering
Right,
in the
right,
desert
right.
before he comes back, and then it ends in Easter. So when he comes back out of the desert, things don't look good because he's going to end up same story every year.
Same
He's not
story.
going to end up living beyond a week after he comes back or whatever.
Palm Sunday.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
are you Catholic?
I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, okay,
And so
alright.
I feel like Catholic is being
I never
is like
did
Jewish.
the- I was- yeah.
You know, you're like culturally.
I was never
Catholic?
baptized. I'm culturally Catholic, but I was never officially baptized, so I was never able to take the sacrament and all that kind of stuff. But it's weird because even though I'm an atheist, it shows how these things work. Even though I'm an atheist, if I went to church tomorrow for some reason, I went to church on Sunday, I would go to a Catholic church.
Totally.
Because there's something about it that I find. It seems ridiculous to me, the people all dressed up and stuff, but there's something about the ritual and all of it that has some
Definitely.
artistic beauty to it, rather than being in front of a evangelist who just screams at me or these new style Joel Osteen unctuous people who are just smile the whole time talking about Jesus. That just drives me crazy. But I can still find some beauty in the Catholic ceremony, although I do think it's just kind of weird with a bunch of people with weird, funny hats. I mean, as much as people are bang on the Scientologist, and they deserve it because of Xenu and the war and everything, if a pope just showed up and you've never seen one, and he's wearing that hat and that dress and that gown and walking
those
around,
cardinals and stuff,
you'd
it's
be
all
like, this
crazy.
is bizarre. We're just used to it, It just seems normal to us.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem normal to me.
All the call and response too, where it's like,
and
the
also with
preset,
you,
and
with the
also with you. We
drones,
lift our hands.
also with you.
It is right to give thanks and praise. Nobody sounds enthused to be there.
You're not supposed to. You're supposed to sound monotone.
Yeah.
I mean, even the priest is always like, forever and ever.
Amen.
So, yeah.
But I
grew up
love
with-
that for some reason.
I know there's something to it. I don't like weddings in Catholic churches, even though you had one.
We had the short
You had a
version.
little short version, but
Yeah.
in the long version, you're up and down and up and down. You're on your knees. You're standing back up. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. It takes forever. But yours was pretty quick, and
Okay.
you had kind of like a hippie Catholic service.
It was a hippie church. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have like AIDS
they're like-
foundation things, and
they're
gay
like-
people work
I'm sure
there
they've had
and-
guitars in there before. It's like this.
Oh, yeah.
they've done that whole thing. If you allow the guitar into the church,
have
it
a whole
gets little-
band.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me. So there's a little bit of they're mixing in a little bit of that Southern evangelical thing.
Do they
with their
take the
Catholicism.
popular rock songs and they change the lyrics a little bit to fit their religious
I don't
agenda?
No, that's like the Baptist thing, I think.
Happens quite often.
We're up
Hey,
all
that's a
night to
famous
get
song.
Jesus.
Jesus is a highway. I'm gonna ride him all night. That means
There's the show name.
yeah. Well, yesterday was hot dog down the highway. This is gonna be Jesus is
Jesus
a highway.
is a
This is
highway.
our highway series. It's a mini series of ours. That means that we didn't talk about yesterday was Fat Tuesday. It means
Yeah.
Mardi Gras is over.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
No, sorry, we just caught the end. So I told you it was over. That's all I got.
I don't know,
boy.
man. I've never gotten into the Mardi Gras thing.
Me either.
Have you gone down there?
No.
I think you would if you were down there.
Really, do you get
Well, yeah, of
swept
course
up in
you
it?
get to
You
get
can
into
sweat,
it
yeah,
down
on
there,
Bourbon Street and all that French Quarter.
literally swept up
Yeah.
in it, like you just fall down.
They're like, all right,
they
drunk.
broom you into a
No, the French Quarter is
dustbin.
almost the only thing I like about New Orleans.
I've never been. I hear it
New
smells
Orleans is amazing,
and it's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh,
you-
it's so cool.
If you ever go
It's
to Mardi
really
Gras,
seedy and gross,
yeah.
but it's like in an amazing way.
So
Like
you
in a
wanna know-
culturally
Brilliant
gross
urban
kind of way.
planning built below sea level.
yeah, that was a good idea. Great idea. Let's build it below sea level. We'll never have trouble
Hey,
with water.
let's hold back the Mississippi with levees. Look at that cargo ship. It's 20 feet
Yeah.
above my head.
That's the weird thing. If you go to New
I've never
Orleans
seen that.
and you walk around, there's a part where you're walking and there's a wall next to you, and the water is 5 feet above your head. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is probably not a good idea as a way to engineer a city or run a city.
Yeah, built on a
But
marsh
to tell
or
you about a
something.
little bit about how my life went, my dad left suddenly when I was 12 years old, and briefly the next year, my mom got in touch with him, and there was some idea of a reconciliation. Well, it turned out that when my dad left, he went to New Orleans, and he went to the French Quarter, and he got a job at a place called the Court of Two Sisters, which is on Bourbon Street. So we went to visit him one time, and it was in the middle of Mardi Gras. So the way my life is, I was, I think still 12 years old, actually. 12 years old on a veranda during Mardi Gras while all this very adult stuff was going on. So I was there then, and I went back one other time as an adult. The amazing thing about Mardi Gras is it is insane, right? And it goes on for days. But when you get to midnight, Tuesday night, and you're rolling into Wednesday, and it's over, it's unbelievable. They clear those streets in 15 minutes. It's gone. I mean, they get the horses. There's no lingering. I mean, within
I've seen it on
15
Cops.
minutes, it's just dead. It's really remarkable the way they do it.
Yeah, I performed at a casino out in New Orleans a couple of years ago on the river, like one of those riverboat casinos, and we went into like Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, and it wasn't during Mardi Gras, but it was still like a constant parade of just nonsense, and it was the first time I was there, and I was like, oh, I'm drinking on the street. This is crazy. It was pretty cool. I don't know. I've only been there maybe twice. I've been to Baton Rouge a couple times.
Watch them sweep up after a party. Same thing as Super Bowl, man. As soon as the place is full of people, as soon as that night is over, 15 minutes later, empty streets.
I was down there for Halloween one year.
Dr. X, who parties everywhere.
Well, I went as Hunter S. Thompson on Bourbon Street, so I had many, many fans.
I have a blast down there during those kind of things, but I will not leave the French Quarter. It's very well policed, and as long as you don't try to pee somewhere, you're going to stay out of trouble. But don't try to pee in the street because you will get in trouble big time.
Where did the beads come from, and how did boobs get involved in that?
I think the boob part was a modern iteration.
What
of
came
it.
first, the beads or the boobs?
The beads have been there forever. I mean, that's part of. I think that this all starts. This is a Carnival in Brazil is I think where the real one is. So a lot of these traditions, I believe, I'm not an expert on it, come from the Carnival in Brazil. The beads have been there for as long as they've had these, these parades that happen every day. They have different, they call them groups or crews that do each parade. So every time you see a parade, there's like a crew behind that parade. And so I believe that a lot of, you're throwing stuff off of floats. You're throwing stuff off of floats. So that's where the beads start flowing. And then I don't know when it got to the point that it was, show us your tits and you get.
So apparently the tradition of beads, it was, and I'm reading this, so that's why it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. It starts with the colors that the bead colors are determined by the king of the first carnival in the 1800s.
Right.
And he wanted royal colors, so that's where they came up with the color scheme. And so then the idea was to, like the beads are made of glass.
That hurt.
And so they weren't the best for tossing, and they were made of plastic. And so basically, it was the beads. They represented the colors of the tradition of Mardi Gras. And then eventually, when they became plastic, people started throwing them out, like because they wanted to have them. And then
the show us your tits part happens as you're on, like, say, Bourbon Street. People have these verandas above the street, and so at some point, people down below, they started throwing beads off these verandas down below, and at some point they started saying, well, show us your tits and we'll throw you more. And then
it just seems like
that's the natural progression of things. Even concerts, you get booze and people, and there's women wearing scant clothing. Show us your tits, and the next thing you know, they're out.
There's always a perk for showing your tits in public, I think.
Once anybody, what a great thing! And once anybody has anything that somebody else wants, it just immediately goes, "What about those titties?"
Yeah.
How bad do you
Well,
want?
concerts, what's going on? They think that Bruce Springsteen's going to come off the stage. Oh, there she is. She just showed me your tits.
Well, listen, I've played in a band. I've been places where I've been security. I've worked as a stagehand where you want to get somebody's attention on stage, whip them out. Like that's like everyone on the stage is going to glance over like, oh look, they're pierced, perfect. Keep it moving.
And by the way, don't whip them out unless they're perfect. By the way, I mean I don't want to see the lopsided thing. I mean, real life is real life, but in public, let's have some symmetry, or just keep the shirt on. I think Lent has turned into something very convenient. Jesus wandered in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. You're supposed to give up something really important.
Ice cream.
Coca-Cola.
Seems like an excuse to make Facebook posts about how good I'm doing with my diet.
Yeah, but exactly. And also, people will give up things that are just not that hard to give up, really, when you compare it to a guy wandering through the desert.
I'm giving up socks.
Yeah, I'm giving up. Or I'm trying to think of like Coca-Cola. I'm not going to have soft drinks. That's really not the thing behind it. You're supposed to give up something that you'll miss.
I guess people will miss those things, though, right?
I mean, my Diet Pepsi.
Yeah. What if you're like, every day 3.
When
I'm giving
people
up my
say
happy
Coke,
pills.
when people say Coke, do they mean all of soda? Because I know in the South, Coke is representative of soda. Or some people say I'm giving up Coke, and then they start drinking Pepsi.
I think that they probably do. They believe me. They
Loophole.
get little loophole there, and God understands. Oh, he
That's
got
right.
a loophole, so but nothing I can do about it. What
Well,
else? is there?
speaking of a loophole,
Well,
that's the seg sound.
Oh, there it is. I'm gonna call Nick.
okay.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna have to call Nick, so I got to turn Greg down.
Oh, bye.
Well, hold on.
Oh.
Wait. I'll just tell Nick. We'll call him in a few minutes.
Okay.
We got plenty of time.
What was I saying?
You
what
were
was my
saying,
awesome seg?
I don't care about
Loophole.
your seg.
It was so good.
Yeah, a
Oh,
loophole
speaking
seg.
of a loophole, the Pope. I'm sure God forgives the Pope for accidentally saying. Am I allowed to say? Yeah,
Well,
we've been
you have to
cursing
understand.
all show. Fuck. He accidentally said fuck.
The Pope said fuck.
Pope said fuck. But it turns out it was kind of a misunderstanding, right?
Well, no, he said it, but he doesn't speak Italian as
Right.
He speaks Portuguese or Spanish as his first
I thought
language.
it was Portuguese.
So Argentina.
Argentina?
So that's Portuguese, right?
Yeah, Portuguese.
So
Argentina, Spanish.
is Argentina Spanish? Brazil
Oh,
is
I thought
Brazil is Portuguese.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Don't mess with Greg on this stuff. For some reason, he knows this kind of stuff. So
He said
Italian is his third or fourth language,
Mm-hmm.
and he's speaking in Rome, and he's tried to say one word, and
he
it
tried
came
to
out
say
fuck.
caso, but instead he said caso.
Yes.
Or maybe some other version of that. But
Nobody thought it was a bad word until some dumb blogger was like, "Oh, that means fuck." Just like
actually-
Kennedy.
Actually, you're
when
wrong.
he said "Ich bin ein Berliner," like
Right.
nobody at the time was like jelly donuts. Like
Yeah.
nobody thought that. It was
Yeah.
afterwards. They were like, "Wait a minute."
Well, he did say that, though. That's part of history, that he stood there and said, I am a jelly donut.
Yeah, but the interpretation within the language, nobody thought that that's what he was
But
saying.
apparently on the square there, Addison, where they got, this is where he's
Yeah.
standing in his apartment giving that homily or whatever he does, and the people are on the square, and apparently people were looking around going, did he just say fuck?
it actually means penis.
Oh.
And it's
I
well,
see.
like literally translated. I don't think that it can be.
I
It
hear
doesn't
the
really make
previous
sense for
Pope liked
us,
penis.
but he actually says penis, which is like a exclamation in Italian.
Oh,
that
penis.
kind of means fuck.
Ah, penis.
Isn't
It's
that
the
funny?
P word.
Yeah. Like people walk around and say something that has to do with penis,
Yeah.
but it really
Penis
means
off,
F.
Autumn.
Penis off, Eric.
What else? Give me something.
Yeah. Do you want to go hard or do you want to
Ooh,
keep
I'm
the
always
soft?
hard when you're around.
Yeah.
Give me a choice. Give me a choice between
Well, we
three
can talk
stories.
about
Yeah, why?
the Obama. He's trying to spend that 3.9 trillion budget.
Oh no, he just presented a budget. It's all for there's nothing real. It's not going to go anywhere.
not gonna go anywhere,
It's all
yeah.
about setting Democrats up to run on it in the midterm
November.
elections. Okay, what's next?
I want to talk about Teresa Giudice.
Which I don't-
Giudice. or
Do you
whatever
watch
say
this
her
show?
name.
Do you
yes,
watch this?
Of course I
which
watch this
which
show.
Real Housewives is she?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
Giudice. I should have known. Giudice.
So she started out on the show as Teresa Giudice, and she was the Giudice.
Right.
And then she got on Celebrity Apprentice, and she was Teresa Giudice. She changed her name.
She classed it up a little bit. For
But
the
I think
Donald.
so she kind of goes back and forth on how to pronounce it.
She might be going back and forth between a jail cell. Soon.
That's right. They apparently, when they were trying to buy these, they live in this amazingly huge, custom, like those houses with the huge doors
Yeah,
with like
yeah,
the crazy handles, like.
And they're rich.
Well, I
What do
guess
they do?
they might not be rich. They
They're scamming people.
yeah, they're filing for They filed for bankruptcy fraud. I'm sorry. The court is convicting them of bankruptcy fraud, conspiracy to commit mail fraud and wire fraud, and failing to pay taxes. So I think that what they were doing, they were inflating their income so
Right.
that they could get like loans for the buildings and pretending like they had more money.
So
than
they were
really
in
did.
real estate as a couple, or he was, or
He
I don't know.
built houses.
Okay.
I think. Like,
Well, make him in real estate. He's
Yeah,
part
I
of
guess.
real estate.
He's part of
I think
real
you build
estate.
houses. That puts you firmly in that category, I think.
So they are looking at
He's looking at 4, she's looking
jail
at 2?
time. Yeah, they both are. Yeah, he's looking at
4.
that 37 to 46 months, and she's
Right.
21 to 27 months. They have like 4 kids, 4 daughters, and
All wonderful,
Joe, after he serves his sentence, he's not a citizen,
Oh.
so he might be deported back
Let's
to
get
Italy.
his ass out of here.
He is kind of the worst if you watch the show.
Well,
He's just a big lunkhead.
I heard they're still going to be in the show though, in the work up here.
Yeah,
Which they need
they're
the money.
refusing to not. Well, so the show that's going to air soon has already been taped.
Right.
But they're like scrambling to try and get more of them in the newer episodes so that they can be there for when this shit really goes down.
Well, reality shows suck anyways. All these people who, I think a lot of these housewives, like the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
You see them in these big homes and they have no income. And I think that it's all made up. Now,
There
they
are
might
some,
have
yeah.
income now because they're 6 years in and they've had a hit television
Like
show,
Nene
whatever.
actually has money now.
Yeah, but Whitfield's wife? I mean, Bob Whitfield. What's her name? She's the real
Whitfield?
bitch. Was it Bob Whitfield? Somebody help me here.
I don't remember who the Whitfield. What's their first name?
I can't remember her first name, but she was a big bitch in the first few seasons. I don't know if she's still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So-
she's the worst.
So Bob Whitfield he played for the Falcons for a
Uh-huh.
while. He played for the Giants. He was blind in one eye, and Sheree, right?
worst.
Whitfield was a journeyman. I mean, he had a good career, but he was maybe, I don't know how long he was in the. So he had a good amount of money, but not the kind of money that is you can just spend it on anything you want.
She was like driving a Maybach. and
Yeah,
stuff
this
like
was
that.
all made up. She did not have that kind of money. It's
People
not
brought that
possible.
up to her in like the reunions and stuff, especially when like Nene and people were making real money.
Yeah.
They were like, don't come to me like you're making money because I know the apartment that you were living in was the producers or whatever.
Right.
And like the house you were renting, you got kicked out of because you couldn't pay the rent.
I felt so bad because we had Bob Whitfield as a regular. It was Bob Whitfield, right? I'm pretty
think
sure.
so. Yeah, it's Bob. Yeah.
And when he was on the Falcons, and he was a funny dude. He was a bit reckless. Saw him out drinking one time, and gets behind the wheel of the car. I'm like, dude, you are a Falcon. You don't want to do this, but he was a really, really cool dude and a genuinely humorous guy, funny sense of humor. And then when I saw I never met his wife, but then when I saw they were already broken up by the time that show started. And when I saw her, and I thought, wow, that guy who's so smart and so funny had to go home to that creature every day. This horrific, I mean, just mean, shallow,
Really shallow.
just an awful human being, I
Yeah.
think. And I just felt sorry for him. I've never talked to him since, but it's like, I bet you he probably gave her as much money as he could to get her out of his life, right?
Right.
He was an athlete. He's a big guy. She's beautiful, and if you go back 15 years, maybe more beautiful. And he's like, well, I'm going to marry this because she's so hot, and she will. But
Yeah.
all she wanted was his money, and I guarantee you that he didn't make enough money to please her. He had
Yeah.
a good career, but it was maybe 7-8 years.
She
something
was
like that.
always on the show pleading that he wasn't paying her.
Right.
But in the meantime, she was buying Louis Vuitton bags
Right.
and red bottom shoes.
No,
and
I just as soon as I saw the
living an
first
extravagant
couple of
lifestyle.
episodes of that, I just thought that poor guy
Yeah.
had to live with
3.5
that.
million. That's his net worth.
In this year,
Just in general, there's a site, celebrityworth.com.
Oh, right, yeah.
well, if it's up to
Net worth.
date,
That's
that
how I like to
means
spend my nights just crying as I'm drinking my powdered milk,
I'm not one of those people.
maybe he had
sleeping in my bed made out of rocks.
maybe he has another business going on now.
He might. He was. All I know is that he was. I like people who are genuinely funny, and that guy was genuinely funny, and he deserved better than that beast, that creature as a wife.
Speaking of genuinely funny, not to derail this,
Why not?
I thought this was current enough. I was at a restaurant last night, and after the play I saw, and Charles Barkley was hanging out.
Weird.
And that guy's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
and
funny,
he
dude.
took pictures with anybody who asked him, and that's a guy who can tell people to go screw themselves.
Right.
But I'm telling, like, as he's walking out the door, people are like, "Hey man, you mind?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem, man. Come on in." And he was like grabbing people. It was crazy. We were talking about
That's
famous
awesome.
people and
Yeah.
housewives.
You see,
and-
it turns out that rich people aren't always assholes. Michael.
Who said that they
You-
were?
I'm
Besides
just
you.
restating the fact. I'm just restating the fact. So give me one more story.
Yeah,
and you can call Mr. Cellini.
Yeah. Have you
The,
heard? I know. Well, I was trying to come up with a segment. I
Don't
couldn't do it.
forget the segues.
But it's so much fun to try. It's like a puzzle.
I
What's
say,
the
give me
next
another
one? Let me see
story.
if I can write one.
the
Let's see how good
student,
my
that
comedy
New Jersey
skills.
student that's suing her parents.
Oh yes, yes.
Speaking of greedy, wealthy people, have you heard about this dumb bitch in Jersey?
You know what's even worse?
What?
She has a cure for cancer, and they won't let it out.
Just like her. Just like those New Jersey
That
teens.
stupid whore.
She's been turned down by the judge, apparently. Anyway,
Yeah, she has.
tell
she's,
the story here.
So yeah, she's is she emancipated?
Well, she's not. She's 17.
18.
Well,
Okay.
she's 18 now. A couple days before she turned 18, she was having trouble with her parents. It seems like mostly it was about the boyfriend. They thought he was no good. They
Right.
wanted her to have a curfew of 11 o'clock.
More than likely, he is no good. Let's be
I would
honest.
imagine
That
so.
could be
I would
true.
imagine so. And she had a curfew and some other things, and so she didn't run away from home. She was 2 days before being 18. She goes to live with
She
a friend.
voluntarily left.
She
yeah.
goes to the friend's house, says, I don't want to live there anymore. The friend's father is a lawyer. Her father is a police chief or an ex-police chief. The friend's father decides to take this case that says these parents, that she's not somehow emancipated, and these parents are still on the hook to pay for her private school and her college education. And so she tried to sue her parents. And here's the judge. Here's the judge in the case saying,
all requests at this time for emergent relief are denied.
so she was completely denied. But
Yeah.
I like
I like that judge.
All.
He sounds like he's from upstate Pennsylvania. All the requests have been denied.
he's got
You guys, this is a slippery slope.
yeah, he did say slippery slope.
We have to ask ourselves, do we want to establish a precedent where parents live in constant fear of establishing basic rules of the house?
And a little more from this judge, because I like him.
Since if they institute a rule that Junior doesn't like, Junior can move out. He can move in with another family. He can sue for child support, attorney's fees, car, a cell phone, and a few $100,000 in college.
She wants something like $600 a month for child support. She's 18 years old and she's living with a friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I can give her a pass because she's 18 and she's stupid, just like I was when I was 18, and thinks she knows everything. What about the guy who's the lawyer, who's the father of the friend,
Yeah.
who encourages her to sue her parents?
Scummy.
What's going on with this guy's in his mind? Yeah, I'm glad that the judge immediately. Although I guess they're going back in April to see if there's any standing that she has, but all of her immediate, all he was doing was turning down her immediate request. He's going to hear the case, I guess, in April and have a longer view on it. But
I mean, she's trying to paint her parents as these really evil people, right? It's
Right.
like they expect too much of me.
My car, they need to keep paying for it. My private high school.
I can't buy gas.
Yeah. Guess what? You're 18, bitch.
Yeah.
I'd move out. And whether she was a guy or a girl, that's
Right.
not a female.
She
male,
said
female
she said
thing.
her parents are abusive, contributing to an eating disorder she developed, and pushed her to get a basketball scholarship.
no.
But then they are saying
how
like
horrible.
they said that they just wanted reasonable.
Wait, hold on. We got to turn on Nick.
Yeah.
They wanted a basketball scholarship so they didn't have to pay for college. How
Yeah.
horrible!
Horrible.
Pushed me to do something to be successful. Hey, you have parents.
Yeah.
Straight fuck yourself. How about that? Hey, how about go get pregnant by
Funny.
this stupid boyfriend?
That's what the judge says here.
Good.
Straight fuck yourself. I'm
Is
not
it-
gonna
well, that's
play
the
that.
official statement, I think. Listen,
Yeah.
listen, dummy.
And the mom even said like she could come home tonight if she wants.
Yeah,
Like
they-
they want her back.
Hey, you left.
you left.
We're not paying you support. We can support you though.
Yeah.
So come back and you're fine. We're not cutting you a check.
Of course, this is all common
Stupid.
sense.
They got me a white Hummer limo for prom. I wanted a pink one. Shut up.
And she is kind of cute, so she should be able to find a boyfriend who will take care of her.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
so-
good. Oh, yeah. And life is all better.
Yeah. If she were younger, maybe I would say, well, there's a reason why young people leave the house so early. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if
She's almost 18. She
give
doesn't
me a
understand the
break.
concepts of even what she's doing. She
Right.
lives in this world now where everything is given to you, and she just thinks it's her right. These people
So
think
we
that
should
they have
blame the
rights.
parents,
We
probably.
should blame the father of the other kid that she's living with right now for bringing this case forward as a lawyer.
Because he was trying to get some media attention,
Well,
and he thinks
yeah.
he can make some dough off of it. Because
Yeah.
if they win, he's going to make $15,000
Sure.
off.
But
it.
whose fault is it really? Because if
Ruin
I
the
left
family
the
then.
house at 17 and went to live with this other family, and the dad of that family wanted me to sue my parents,
Right.
and I went for it, isn't it my parents' fault for making me think that that's appropriate?
No.
No.
No?
What? No, she's rebelling against her parents. Her
Yeah.
parents don't think that's
But I'm
appropriate.
saying, like, giving
so-
all of this stuff to me, maybe that
Well,
made me
yeah.
think, like, oh, I deserve that money.
Well, sure, but I
Of
mean,
course, that's
but
the same concept of getting married, and then one person's rich, and then now you have to continue paying them this amount of money, whether you make that much money or
Right.
not, because I'm
accustomed-
accustomed to this lifestyle. Really? How about be an adult and be a human being
Yeah,
and go
yeah.
earn your way? Well, my husband used to buy me all kinds of great stuff
Yeah,
and
yeah.
go on vacation, so now I
deserve
deserve that
that.
all the time.
Yeah, I mean, now
No, there's
if-
reason you got divorced,
Sure.
and it's probably because you weren't sucking his dick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, believe me, no. I'm telling you, there's so many. I could end so much couples therapy. If I could just pull women aside and say, look, if you can bring yourself to give them 2 Hummers a week, you're going to get almost anything you want. It's
2 a
really
week?
2 a week. And if you're willing,
order.
it's a lot easier than going to therapy 3 times a week and blah 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 and whatever. 2 Hummers
That's
a
crazy.
week. 2 Hummer. I'm just telling you the truth. 2 Hummers a week, and 90% of men will give you almost anything you want for
Oh,
that.
you think so?
Yes.
What about like listening and like stuff like that?
Oh,
You know, I know.
Shut up and get on your knees.
All
I
right.
want to listen to the sounds of never mind.
Ew.
I'm not saying I'm like that. I'm just saying that most women spend a lot of time trying to figure out why their man isn't more into them or whatever. And I'm saying beyond all that, if you could just, even if you hate it, if you could stomach, that's the wrong word. If you could, if you could bring yourself to 2 Hummers a week, you would alleviate 75% of the problems in your marriage.
Do you say Hummer? You're like, wife, give me a Hummer.
No, I don't say that to my wife because she's my wife. She's a family member.
Do you
I
say
wouldn't speak that way to her.
blowjob?
No, I don't
do you
say
say?
stuff like that. You just start pushing somebody's hand. They get the idea, right? Anyways, let's close this up because we got to go to sports. Do we have the sounder for the close? This is nah. No,
That
this is
is
the
not
sports.
correct.
You didn't close her up with.
Well, hold on.
Oh,
There's
Man.
your bookend.
It's so quiet.
And she's going to
Everything's
sing.
terrible. That was the news. What?
forever and ever. Just
That
roll
was
through
the
it.
news.
There we go.
If you'd like more stories like this, you can find it all on ericfunradio.com.
Oh, man. And there's a reason that man is in there because God is a man. Exactly, that's right.
Amen.
All Maine,
Oh shit.
as my Jewish friends say.
Amen.
Giggity, giggity.
Shalom.
Nick Cellini, are you there, my friend?
I am. I'm thinking about this 2 Hummers a week philosophy.
Yes.
And if there were 2 Hummers a week, if every man received 2 Hummers a week, we would be truly a world of peace. There would be no need for weapons or anything else. Everybody would agree on everything. Don't you think?
Everybody would be too happy to cause too much of a ruckus over anything.
Now, the problem here is the women would go to war then because they would be the miserable human beings having to do that disgusting vile act to us twice a week.
I don't think it's necessarily disgusting. It's their place.
Good place.
What's in sports? What should I know about in sports, Nick?
Well, I don't know if they're using the straight fuck yourself defense in the Oscar Pistorius trial, but we're on day 3 of that, and I guess the prosecution produced a surprise witness. At least the defense was surprised. Now, Oscar Pistorius, the double amputee athlete down in South Africa, charged with premeditated murder. He says he thought it was an intruder in the bathroom when he shot 4 times into the bathroom door, killing his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. But anyway, this guy is a boxer, and he said they were at a dinner together. Oscar Pistorius somehow, some way produced a pistol. The pistol fired under the table, grazing the boxer. Nobody was seriously injured, thankfully. But I guess Oscar Pistorius then went to all the people around the table and told them, you have to take the blame for this. I am a famous athlete, big celebrity in South Africa, and I guess they're trying to paint the picture of a guy that's totally irresponsible and a sociopath willing to do anything
And trigger
to get
happy.
on.
And trigger happy. You know, it reminds
Correct.
me. It reminds me a little bit of these guys who. God, why can't I think of the producer's name? Ramon, Spector, Phil Spector.
Phil Spector.
Phil
was the guy,
Spector.
yeah.
Phil Spector was a guy who produced. He produced the song. Just amazing music in the 60s and 70s for the most part. And there's stories about him surprising John Lennon with a gun and scaring people with guns and guns being a part of this thing from the 70s on. And then he has a girl over to his house one time and he starts playing around with the guns and oops, blows her head off. And so the idea here is, if you can establish the fact that this guy enjoyed firing weapons and that was part of his deal, it does help. My understanding is if I'm looking at the way that it is, you got this witness up there who's saying that she heard, I think I have it here. I played it yesterday, but can you turn me up over here?
Yep.
Just after 3, I woke up from a woman's terrible screams. Just after her screams, my lady, I heard 4 shots. It was 4 gunshots that I heard.
And then she says after the last gunshot, she heard the kind of scream sort of die off. The only, halfway decent point that the prosecution has now, and they're trying to exploit it, is I think their evidence is that the first shot hit her in the head. And if this woman is saying she heard screams after the first shot, they're going to try to establish that function, that part of the brain, that all that you wouldn't have screams after the first shot. It almost looks to me like the only threadbare hair of a defense that they actually have.
They also tried to say Oscar Pistorius, he sounds like a girl when he screams as well. I guess when you're trying to avoid life in prison, you'll do anything, you'll say anything,
of course,
even if it's emasculating.
Yeah, but I mentioned this yesterday that the problem here for him is that he doesn't have a jury. That's the thing. With a jury, you can just get a couple of people, you're famous, whatever. They just have a judge, and the judge has two helpers to go over they're making this entire case to my lady, the judge, and she has complete control. Now, he can't get the death penalty. They don't have it there, but he can get 25 years. That's all you
25 years for premeditated murder. What a country, huh?
And they wonder why it's so violent over there.
Also, speaking of violence, violence on the field, we know the NFL is a violent sport, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this. The N-word, the NFL is trying, or at least they're thinking about penalizing players now if they use the N-word and the officials hear them.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a divide now between the older African Americans who used to play and are retired now, and the younger African Americans playing the game, like Doug Baldwin, Seattle Seahawks wide receiver. He says, among the younger generation of African Americans, the N-word is a term of endearment. So you can't penalize us for using this word. While you've got older guys like Harry Carson, who grew up in South Carolina, Hall of Fame linebacker, won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, saying, you know what, I grew up in South Carolina. That word was thrown at me as a kid, and I heard that word tossed around, and I talked to people who integrated the NFL years ago. Trust me, that's not a term of endearment. So
Right.
you've got that cultural divide now among African Americans.
I think the NFL should come down on the side of what they want their sport to be. These athletes are paid a lot of money to represent the NFL, and if the NFL decides we don't want this in our sport, then it's just one more rule, and it doesn't seem like a very difficult rule that they will have to deal with. They're not saying, I mean, are they saying, they're not taking it to the locker room, right? They're just saying on the field, we don't want to hear it.
Right, on the field, and they'll discourage you. Teams have already put forth, like the Steelers, saying, look, we don't want to hear this in the locker room. And the Steelers players have said, yeah, for a couple of days, we were good. But after a while, we went back to our old habits.
Right.
They're just saying if they hear it on the field. The concern is if there's, an argument, if there's a physical altercation in between plays, which we know is going to happen. It happens all the time.
Right.
What if a referee mistakenly hears a white guy use the N-word? He's wrong, but he still gets penalized, the white player, and forever there's a scarlet letter that NFL player is wearing, even though he didn't use the word. That's the dangerous thing here.
Well, I think
that a lot of people are thinking about too.
We brought this up yesterday a little bit, and I think that they will not disclose. This is pure speculation. I don't think that they will disclose what was said. I think that the ref will just say, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bad conduct. What's the what is the unsportsmanlike conduct?
Unsportsmanlike.
And
for inappropriate language?
No, I don't even think they'll do that. If they're smart, they'll just say unsportsmanlike conduct, and they'll leave it at that. Well, and because you cannot, I mean, can you imagine the guy opening his mic in the middle of the field, 15 yards, saying the N-word? I don't think that's going to happen.
What if he actually says the word? You want to talk about a stadium in upheaval?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
The problem, though, is there's cameras everywhere, as we know. We watch the NFL with the red zone and everything else. They want to give the fans all of this access, and the media is going to digging and digging and digging, and somebody will come up with a story. That's why it's
well, the
interesting
thing here to me, though, is that you're not going to, I mean, for the most part, this is about policing black athletes, isn't it? I mean, white people kind of know better, I think.
Yeah,
you're in a game where a guy has, license to hit you as hard as he wants to. It doesn't seem like a good place as a white guy to be throwing that around. You end up in weird situations where Richie Incognito somehow thought he was given a pass. He was told that he was an honorary N-word and it was okay for him. But I mean, for the most part, and I don't even think I don't think people are saying that he said it on the field to opponents or anything like that. So this is really actually the interesting part about this. It's like rap. If you're going to clean up the world from this word, if you're going to try to expunge this word, white people are already afraid of it for the most part. So you're really trying to convince young African Americans to stop using it, which makes it kind of interesting. It's they themselves don't have a problem with it, and we do. So it's a different thing.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You got to be careful on both ends. So we'll see what the competition committee decides to do. Now, speaking of non-white people, you may see, to quote John Rocker, a lot of foreigners down around the Georgia Dome tonight if you're in downtown Atlanta. There's an exhibition game in soccer between Mexico and Nigeria. They are expecting
So
a
traffic will
record
be
crowd
completely
of
fine.
54,000 plus down there.
What's that, Nick? Say again? What were you saying again?
Sorry,
I missed the end there.
They're expecting a record crowd, 54,000 plus, down at the Georgia Dome tonight for this exhibition between Mexico and Nigeria.
And
it's
there's
going to be an absolute madhouse.
There's at least 3 vendors working there who speak English, I'm sure, if you have some sort of emergency and need to get to a doctor or something. I mean, honestly, I wonder, English is not going to be the predominant language in that building. Am I right or am I wrong?
Claro que sí.
I wouldn't think so.
I want to go.
Quiero
Be a
ir.
blast. I've never been to a soccer game. This is only an exhibition game, right? So it's probably not going to have that much intensity amongst the fans. But I've never been to one of these.
I don't know, man. The Mexican fans, they can be pretty intense, exhibition or not. I mean, they've been known to throw bags of things. I'm not saying that's going to happen in the Georgia Dome, but bags of urine, bags of feces onto the field when America plays down in Mexico City.
How do you get
You're talking about pride.
How does one get a bag of feces into a
pooped-
stadium?
I pooped into a bag.
Do they produce it there? They just bring the bag and they know?
Of course, Eric. Eric, I just pooped into this bag.
Because you love your soccer team, right?
See, I love my soccer team.
How you show your pride is you throw your feces at the opponent.
Sometimes I throw my pee too.
Well, that's all very dangerous in this world. I mean, medically speaking, it's just not hygienic, and I'm sure it's discouraged.
The pee is probably better. It's sterile. Right?
Yeah, I guess. I guess. Yeah, feces is not a good thing. You don't want to mess with feces.
Yeah.
It's got everything you don't want
dangerous,
right there.
especially if you had corn the night before.
Exactly.
Then you really got to be careful.
Then you
That's
can
taking it to an entirely new level.
Then you can knock a guy out because you actually have matter.
Oh.
So it becomes like stones inside of a snowball,
Like when you drop a penny off the Empire State Building.
which I do
Yeah.
daily.
I drop pieces of corn off the Empire State Building.
It'll flatten a man. Give me one more, Nick, and we'll get out of here.
Well, let's talk about this. They did the big ad during the Super Bowl. Radio Shack were getting rid of the 80s. You know, Hulk Hogan came in and everybody else. Alf, they had all the characters from the 80s. I guess it didn't work because they're closing 1,100 stores and their stock is down 24%, and they're losing money hand over fist. I guess it's because, well, nobody really needs Radio Shack anymore.
Well,
apparently.
you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is on this one, and I've read a lot about this. I'm the demo. I'm the guy. I'm putting together stuff in here, and I'm like, oh God, I need a cord. And the great thing about Radio Shack is Best Buy is a long ways away. There aren't as many stores. There's a Radio Shack right up the road. So if I just need a cord or something like that, I want to run into Radio Shack. In all the analysis that I've read about this, and I've loved Radio Shack all my life since I was a kid. The problem with Radio Shack, they have a lot of other problems, being able to keep stock, being modern, all that kind of stuff. The problem that nobody talks about with these stores is the goddamned upsell.
Oh, yeah.
I hate going into Radio Shack. I go in there and buy batteries, and they ask me for my phone number. They, and I have to go through that whole thing of going, well, nah, it's all right. I don't even want to have to go through that. I'm buying batteries. You buy one thing and they try to sell you insurance on it. I don't need insurance on this wire. If it goes bad, I'll come back and spend $6 and buy another wire. And it's like the banks, where it just becomes impossible to deal with them because they're nickel and diming you, and it's never enough. Best Buy, it seems to me, has backed off on this. They do less of it than they used to. I went to Best Buy. I spent $1,000 on a television. I get up there to pay for the damn thing, and the person tries to give me the upsell. I just dropped $1,000 in your store. That's not enough. It's not enough for me to drop $1,000. Now you got to try to make $30 more from me.
Right.
And it's so annoying with what's your address and do you have this card? I don't have a card. I'm not interested in your discount. I'm here. I don't buy TVs every day. I'm going to get this one. I'm probably going to have it for 4 or 5 years. I just want to pay you $1,000. Why all the rigmarole? And Radio Shack was even worse. I mean, you couldn't do anything in there without them trying to talk you into buying more. And I think it's a turnoff, and that's the customer who's there. Their problem is they're losing customers because you buy the stuff online, you know all that kind of stuff. And by closing down so many stores, see, they're going to try to modernize themselves, turn them into like an Apple store, more of an experience store. Yeah. Problem is, the great thing about Radio Shack was it's just around the corner. If it's not just around the corner, I'm going to drive the extra time to get to Best Buy. I'm not going to drive the extra time to get to Radio Shack. So the idea about Radio Shack was, I need a wire. Oh, look, there's Radio Shack. There's one on every block.
And how many people need wires? I mean,
a lot.
You know?
These we're not totally wireless yet. And they just go, you walk in. Go ahead.
I'm a little bit embarrassed. I paid $30 insurance on the 2 adapters that I purchased because you never know. They're $4. That adds up.
Yes,
after a
it
while.
sure does. You don't want to replace them yourself, So
Exactly. Like it hurts.
yeah. So even Hulk Hogan couldn't save Radio Shack. 1,100 stores. It's going to be a part of my life. I used to hang out at Radio Shack when I was like 10 years old in Bartlett, Tennessee. I used to go over there and hang out for hours and just talk to the guy and talk about radio and not radio as in listening to radio, but how it's done and electronics and a lot of nerds like
So
me.
you used to hang out and talk to the guy that worked at Radio Shack.
Oh yeah, hours at a time. He was a
You ever
friendly
ask
old
to
man.
see your underpants or anything?
Yeah.
He was a very friendly old
Let
man.
me show you a little bit of something in the back. I got
He-
lots of wires back here you can play with.
Now that I think about it, back then I thought he's rubbing my back.
You
And
gotta
patting me on
take
the
off
back.
your pants if
a
you're gonna
good
be
thing.
safe around the
Well,
wires.
apparently the conductivity, if you have your pants off, is better for this
Exactly.
experiment. I never really thought
Better
about
take
that.
off the shirt too. I mean, just to play it safe, son.
I don't know. I blacked out a couple of times, but for the most part, it was a good memory.
We had a good old time.
I'll give you a free cassette recorder if you show me your underpants.
That's right. Nick Cellini, thank you for joining us. And how can people follow you on the internets?
Well, you can follow me at Facebook, Nick Cellini. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's reversed, at Cellini Nick. You spell the last name Cellini.
We always appreciate your contribution. We'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks.
My pleasure.
That's Nick Cellini, and there's his Play Out Sports Music.
He gets the right news, info, music.
Leave Dr. X out of this.
Jealous.
There's no reason. Greg's internet went down. He sent me a thing. His internet dropped. So that'll happen from time to time. So we will say goodbye to Greg through this broadcast. Greg, goodbye.
Bye, Greg.
We'll miss you.
We need 2 numbers next time.
Oh
we talk
yeah,
to
that's
him.
right. He's got I can't remember the numbers he's put out. So
2 and 2, 3.
3, 4, maybe.
Maybe 7.
Yeah, I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Do you know his number off the top of your head?
I don't. I don't know my husband's
I don't know
number.
anybody's number.
Yeah.
It's just, I know mine. I got past that whole thing of I don't know my number because I never call myself.
Yeah.
I got over that. I know
Good.
mine, but that's about it. I know my 2 different numbers. Autumn Fisher.
Yes.
There are folks who watch and listen to this show, and they find you to be entertaining, and they'd like to know more about you. Where can they find that?
They can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on my front porch, on my house, at Autopritz. Pritts.
And Michael Albanese, show business mogul that he is. How can people follow you?
You make me sound like an asshole every time you say that, by the way. You go to my website, inmyownhead.com. I have all my tour dates on there. Tour dates. I sound like a
Yes, well, you're a
loser.
touring
No, I don't
comedian.
like using the word tour. And then I will be I'm going to keep plugging it because I want to sell the show out. March 21st, 22nd. At the Aurora Theater in downtown Lawrenceville. Going big time all the way to Lawrenceville.
Hell yeah.
2 shows each night. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can just look up Aurora Theater.
Pack a bag.
And it's going to be great. Those shows should sell out, hopefully. And I have, some fun stuff. It'll be good. Got 3 really good comics. We're like kind of all co-headlining this great show. So please come check us out.
Hang on, turn that down a little bit.
I'm having trouble with this soundboard.
No. I know what's happening there is that Nick and Greg are on the same pot. And so you turn them up to hear their voice, and then the music comes in, which is very understandable. We're not going to hold Dr. X doing great work over there.
Sorry for everyone's ears.
That's okay. Dr. X, thank you again. And you'll be back with us, I believe. We're going to do 2 more shows today.
Woo!
So if you're around live, somewhere between 4 and 8:30, we're going to try to pack 2 shows in. More like 5 at 8:30. So we got a lot of work to do today. You guys are gonna go away for a while and come back, right?
Yes.
I don't want
totally.
you sitting around a goddamn house all day.
Yeah, you got to get your nap in.
I got things to do.
Yeah.
I got to get my nap in.
No,
That's for sure.
Yeah.
but if you guys did want to sleep, we have room here. You can fall asleep. That was the morning show with EVH. We will see you again tomorrow morning.